the most tremendous new musical experience you can have.
Alright, what's good, y'all? It's Logan, and I'm here bringing y'all this review to this newest Westside Gunn album called Who Made the Sunshine. This one clocks in at 11 songs, about said 11 minutes, 11 songs, 40 minutes. This is his third project this year and his second full-length album. Of course, him dropping Pray for Paris earlier this year, which cracked in. I had it like a 9 at first. It has fallen to an 8.5 just because I realized it doesn't have as much replayability. Regardless, and then he dropped a little EP a couple, like a month or two ago, one that I didn't really care for that much. So, this is also his debut album for Shady Records. Of course, if you didn't know, Griselda Records is also signed to Shady Records, so this is his debut album under that label. And y'all know about Griselda too. Y'all know all about Griselda. Of course, you've got Benny, you've got Conway, you got Boldy in there. They've been killing it this year. I mean, they've had some great projects. They've also had some just decent projects. They've just put out a lot of stuff to the point where, like, it's always good, but at some point, if it's not great, I kind of just don't really care. Like, they put out enough stuff, and you know I'm high on Griselda. I love Griselda, but it's gotten to the point where if it's not like that Pray for Paris, that, I guess From King to a God, even though I didn't care for that one that much, or like the, Anything by Benny. If it's not at that level, then I'm just kind of fatigued and don't care that much. But with this album, I did find plenty of enjoyment. First things first, this cover, man. This cover is awesome. I love how it looks like a little kid drew it, but then it has the blood splattered all over. That's just funny to me. Anyways, let's get on to the pros. So pros, again, same as usual with Griselda, specifically with Westside Gunn. I mean, his albums all sound pretty much similar. You know, it's got good beats. It's got a good boom bap style. You know, he's got some good ad-libs, some good bars, and some very solid features. And that's one thing I'll give to Westside Gunn. He really pulls through with the features. At first, I thought Benny might have the best features, but I don't know, man. Westside really pulled his weight with this one. I actually think the features, at least name-wise, might be better on this one than it was on Pray for Paris. Don't get me wrong, Wale was great. Tyler and Joey was amazing to hear from them, but this one, man, the features. And I'm going to talk about that once I get into breaking down the tracks, because I do talk about pretty much all the tracks with major features on it. However, the cons, again, it's same as usual Griselda. It can get boring at times, especially since Westside Gunn's voice can get on your nerves if you aren't used to it. Now, I am someone who finds it enjoyable, but whenever he gets into his singing bag, it just doesn't work for me like that, His voice is a little annoying when he's singing. When he's rapping, I can deal with it and enjoy it, but when he's singing, it's just kind of annoying. That's all I can say to that. And then the ad-libs can get annoying if you're not a fan of those. Again, I am, but I understand if you're not. So I'm not going to try to make you be a fan of those. Now, if I'm going to get into the standout songs here, first off, The Butcher and the Blade, of course, featuring Benny the Butcher and Conway the Machine. Now, this sounds very similar and just like every other track that features these two, or any track that has all three of these artists on it, basically. Of course, with Benny having the best verse as usual. Still a really good track. You know these three have chemistry together. You always look forward to whenever there's a Griselda album dropping, whether it's Benny, Conway, or Westside. You always look forward to that track featuring all three of them on it because you know it's going to be good. Pray for Paris had two of those, one of them being very good, one of them having a bad beat but still being decent. This one, very solid track. Then you have Ishkabibble with Black Thought. Now, Black Thought's someone who has worked with Griselda before, specifically with Benny on the Plugs I'm At, on a song where Benny had the best verse, and it featured Black Thought. Regardless, Westside doesn't pull anything like that. It's a very solid, I'm going to call it a bar fest, even though it doesn't fit that exact description. They are spitting some sick lyrics throughout this song. It's a very understated beat that really works well, surprisingly, for both artists. You know Westside, he's always good over these more understated beats, but this allows Black Thought very much to show off his range, because he's someone who always works over some very good production, specifically, of course, having worked with The Roots most of his career, having Questlove and all of their amazing mixing, mastering, and beat production. So hearing him over a beat like this, not that you've never heard him over a beat like this before, but it's always fun to hear. Next we have All Praises featuring Boldy James and Jadakiss. You know Westside and Boldy are going to do well together because they're kind of in that Griselda crew together. And then Jadakiss, I mean, he could fit right along. This does start a bit rough, I'll say, with Westside singing for about the first minute of the track. It is, again, like I said, that's not his strength, and it can get on your nerves. You know, take it in stride. Like the song with Wale on "Pray for Paris." The name of the song slipping me, but I know he sings like "I'm out here in Paris, just kissing on you." You know that song. That, you know, he does it in stride. He does it to a certain level to where there's not too much of it that it gets really annoying. This one he does too much. But regardless, once you get into the rapping, I mean, Boldy starts and you're in for a good track. He comes in strong, and then Jada, he fits in very well with these two. You know, they have more smooth voices, although they still come off with that aggressive type, like, you know, glamour coke rap that they're going through. But, you know, again, they have smoother voices similar to a Freddie Gibbs or whatever, whereas Jadakiss, he has a more aggressive, more growling type flow. You know what Jadakiss sounds like, and he comes with that flow on here. It's very fun, very aggressive, very distinctly different from these two. But it works, obviously, because you know that their sounds complement his sound very well, especially with what they talk about very often. So again, well-placed feature on this song. After this, you get Ocean Prime featuring Busta Rhymes and Slick Rick. Now, if that isn't some of the best features on an album that I've seen in 2020, I don't know what is. Obviously, Busta's going to be coming in aggressive. Imagine that. Killing his verse, you know. Again, he has that same type of, like Jadakiss, how he has that more aggressive growling flow. Of course, Busta Rhymes is way more aggressive and way more growling type. But it works. And then Slick Rick having an even more chill, laid-back, smooth sound to his verse, as you know what Slick Rick sounds like. I mean, extremely understated, extremely chill, very solid bars. And again, he's possibly the last artist I would have expected to hear in 2020 outside of like a Rakim or someone like that. LL Cool J, I don't know. I loved his feature. And I know he's featured within the past few years, but it's just not very often. And I did not expect to see it on a Griselda album, so I think that was awesome. You can tell they have really good connections. Obviously, Shady Records is going to have good connections, but I just thought that was awesome. After that, I'm going to talk about I have two more songs to talk about, sorry. Good Night, again featuring Slick Rick. This is a very, very solid storytelling song where both of them tell stories. It's basically describing a bad drug deal going down, or a bad deal going down anyways. Of course, that works with Westside. He's a good storyteller, especially about topics like that. And then Slick Rick is just always, oh my God, you know he's the best storyteller in rap. The only one who could even challenge him is maybe like Nas or someone like that, you know. But no, I'm taking Slick Rick 10 times out of 8 on storytelling. Like, you know how good Slick Rick is with his stories. Again, a very chill verse, but solid bars and a really well-placed feature. Again, I'm very impressed that he managed to get 2 verses out of Slick Rick, someone who began rapping back in the 80s. You know, that's amazing. And someone who a lot of people my age and younger probably don't even know who he is, which is highly disappointing. Granted, those same people probably ain't listening to Westside Gunn, but regardless. Final song I'm going to talk about is 98 Sabres, which features Conway, Benny, and Armani Caesar. Really good way to finish the album. It's a great finale with a great sample of Who Shot Ya. I love how they use that beat in here. Great verses by every artist, but the best verse might have to go to Armani, honestly. The way she fit in, it was great. Of course, Benny is going to get a close second, if not first, on this one. But man, you know, usually she's doing a little bit more singing, but I thought her verse fit very well and worked with this track. And she was going bar for bar with all 3 of the other Griselda artists. So in conclusion on this one, I mean, you can grow tired of Griselda. Yes, not going to deny that. It's very easy to grow tired of Griselda when they're dropping. At least one artist has a project drop every month, I feel like. However, there's no denying that this is a good project. You can tell he put more thought in this one than some of his other ones. I'm still going to favor Pray for Paris. I just felt like it was the more well put together album. I feel like this one wasn't put together very well, although the highs might be higher on this one. The lows are definitely way lower. I feel like there weren't many lows on Pray for Paris. There are plenty of lows on this one. The tracks that I didn't talk about are basically throwaway tracks, whereas on Pray for Paris, every track I could have talked about for the most part. It's close, though. I'll give it close. Overall, I enjoyed it. I will go back to it, although I'm probably not going back to every single track on this one, like I will Pray for Paris, where it's easier to listen to the whole thing. I think this was a solid project, and I'm going to give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. At first, I was going to go with an 8, but I just realized, one, the replayability of Pray for Paris even died, and I don't like this one as much. So once I listened to it a couple more times, I realized, I'm not going to go back to this one a lot. I'm not going to listen to this whole album, so I had to drop it a little bit. I could see you going a little bit lower. I could see you going a little bit higher. It depends on how much you enjoy those other tracks. I think the tracks that I mentioned everyone should enjoy, but the other tracks, those are the ones that are really determinant on how high or low you're willing to go on this one. Regardless, good project. Really enjoyed it. I look forward to what else we hear. Hopefully he does take a little bit of a break. Again, the fatigue can set in. Regardless, really good projects all throughout 2020, and I've enjoyed that. That being said, that's all I got for y'all. Make sure to hit the like button, comments up, hit the bell next to my name for notifications. I appreciate y'all, and I will hit y'all up next time.